Ready for a quick little market update. I wanted to share with you a few key levels that you can hopefully trade around, read some sentiment off of, and help you in your trading. This week, we kind of looked for that hourly trend. It finally broke with extended hours off. This was the key spot that I was looking at. We finally closed below that and immediately rejected. So there is a little bit of weakness kind of coming through. It's kind of chopping through this. So we were waiting on that. It had to make a very large move to do it though. So you can see from up to here, all the way down to there, by the time we finally broke the trend, it had already made a very big move. So earlier this week, we said, look for more selling down to the weekly EMAs and a bounce around the 20. I mean, it was spot on. Did a bear call spread earlier this week, made some money on it. Didn't quite get the trigger for the bull put spread before it took off, but we did buy some calls down here just following our plan. The next part of this is 439 as a key level to look for the bears to take back over. This is that gap fill right here. We have an open gap on SPY. And I think that this is where the bulls are going to try to get it to. If we're looking at this guy here, I imagine we're going to continue to be bullish. We've got quite a few bull days in a row. This would be a very good spot for bulls to try to take into and then sell into. That's where I'm planning on taking some profits. A few scenarios are going to play out here. The fact that we didn't bounce very strongly off that 10 EMA and we went straight down to the 20 before we had any kind of bounce, it opens the door for this move to come through. The reason why I'm leaning a little bit more towards that was the bullish, right? The bulls stepped in around the 10 and then the very next day gap down, move lower. So not very strong at all for the bulls, but really it's the weekly chart. We are miles from the 10 and mainly, most importantly, the 20 EMA. The 20 EMA is sitting right at a very strong support at 418. This is where I am counting on the markets to get to. It's just going to take probably next week or the week after, right? Somewhere in there. Very, very, very extended for SPY. We've got so many gaps open below us. Be very cautious. The entire world is bullish up here. Wait for it to get down to 418. We'll actually figure out how strong these bulls really, truly are. Because this weekly is so extended, I am leaning a little bit more towards bull traps up here and rotations down. This is kind of giving me a hint of weakness, and if we can come up into this gap fill, I'm going to see if any bulls hold, if any bears step in, and see if we can't roll back down. That's kind of my plan. If we do something like this and then get bought off that 10 again and start going, we're going to reclaim this high around 444. And then if we break out, it's 450, 460 territory most likely, which again would be extremely extended on a weekly. You've got to be very, very, very patient if you're a bull here to enter in. This is not the place to enter in. This is the place to take your profits. It's just a matter of when are we going to get that pullback, fill some of these gaps, come back into that like 420 area so that then the bulls can come in. This is where you want to be buying, not up here. That's kind of what I'm looking at here for the SPY. So fully expecting it to get to this gap fill. Hopefully it can do it today. We'll see what happens. We've also got the monthly candles closing here in about a day. So I am keeping a very close eye on 432 this week. If we close up above 432, that's going to be the first time that we've closed above some of these upper wicks in a year and a half. Every time we put in an upper wick, we end up getting selling. We put in an upper wick, that one trapped the bears, and then we've done nothing but full squeeze to the moon from here. So if we do close up above this 432 mark on SPY, that would show that the bulls actually are gaining a lot of ground. Again, we're miles away from the EMAs right now. We could get a steeper pullback than people expect, possibly even down to 400, 395. We've got a lot of gaps down there. And then the bulls will come to play, especially if we close pretty strong here. That's going to be my game plan. Look for a steeper sell-off with all these months in a row. Come back into these monthly EMAs. Probably go a smidge lower and then bounce back up. So that's my plan here on SPY. Qs are very similar. Incredibly extended from the EMAs on a weekly chart. It needs to show some sort of pullback here, and I think this is going to be a pretty steep pullback down to about 310, and then we'll see how strong the bulls actually are from there. Kind of holding here. I think this is somewhat of a bear trap, right? Inside candle breakdown. It's almost too easy of a short, so it would make sense for us to get up above the high of last week. And then if we continue to go, then we'll continue to go, but Qs have really gone into a very crucial level. I feel like steam is starting to leave, momentum is starting to wane, and it's time for this to start getting some pullback. So expect bears to come in over the next few weeks, in my opinion. It's just way too extended, and we're not going to hang out up here for too long. I think the bulls need to get trapped before we can come in. So this is really what you want to look for. Before you go short, it needs to take out this bouncing spot. If at any point we finally take out this bounce, you'll see some steep selling because we have gaps galore on Qs that need to get filled all over the place. And this is extremely extended without building very much of a, it's just bull candle after bull candle. There was no floor being built. There was no structure being made on a weekly. And whenever there's no structure being made is usually when the doors open for some steep sell-offs. So again, Q's kind of trapping these high wicks up here, putting in an inside candle, coming down. Give it another week or two. We'll probably finally start seeing some pullbacks. And I expect the bulls to come in around like 335 to 330, maybe 310, worst case scenario. But we should get some bulls coming in if they're strong, and they'll bounce it off of that. A few little kind of catalysts that I look into. Are we getting some rotation into some safety nets, right? That's what I'm looking at. We are at some key supports here in XLU. XLV starting to find a little bit of bulls, but still not looking the strongest. So I wouldn't say the rotation is quite there yet. Junk bonds is actually gapping down a little bit today. You want this to match the stock market, and you can notice this has had a very severe sell-off when the markets haven't gone down really that much at all. If this starts to roll over and take out this 90, 91 area, expect the markets to start to pull back here pretty soon. We could continue to go higher. Bonds could go right into this 200 EMA. That makes a ton of sense. We'll see what happens. One thing that's a little bit concerning right now is copper. Copper is usually a really good canary in the coal mine, so to say, right? It's a good idea of what the world economy is sitting at right now. And copper, as you can tell, it's been very beat up all through last year. And coming into this right now, I mean, this is really selling off extremely hard. We've come back up into the weekly EMAs. It's pushing down. We are at a vital support right now on copper. If this continues to fall off, that's letting us know ahead of time that something is sick in the market. There is some weakness out in the world economy, and you just need to keep a close attention on that. Looking at that guy, we're still crazily inverted. It's going to revert back down at some point here, but every sign out there is pointing towards struggles in the economy. When will that happen? I'm not sure. Will that ever happen? I'm not sure. They might just hold it higher and prop it up. But these monthly key levels are going to be very important. Do we close over the next few days above that 432 mark on SPY is going to be really, really important. And no matter what, this is due for a pullback. So expect pullbacks into EMAs. Expect bulls into this area from 410, really 420 to 400. That should be a bull buying area. If we break through 395 pretty solidly and not really bounce, then something is seriously wrong, and that's really where you need to be flipping full bear. Feel free to subscribe, join onto this channel, help us to grow. Please feel free to come trade with us. We trade every single day live, do some analysis on the charts, teach you how to trade. That's what we do here at Real Life Trading, so you are welcome to come trade alongside of us. You can join us. Check out reallifetrading.com for any more info on that. Come watch our computers as we trade live and learn from the experts of how to trade and navigate these markets. Have a great day, my friends. Thanks for your time. I'll see you around.